Okay, so each of there's different weapon types like daggers, uh, short swords, um, like medium length swords like claymores, also great swords, and then long swords. And each of them have different move sets and then different stats, different like stats. And then we also have curved swords, straight swords. We have katanas as well. If you're into like more of the Eastern samurai builds, we have um, we have piercing swords, like fencing swords. If you know if you know what that is, yeah. We have axes. We have cleavers, halberds. We have hammers. We have maces, flails. We have pickaxes. We have scythes. We have spears. We have pikes. Yeah. We have torches. They're not very good, but still pretty good. We have colossal weapons too. We have like parts of we have parts of enemies that you can use as weapons. And then we have fist weapons, which is claws that like are just attached to your fist. We have and then they can be claws, and some of them can also be almost like gauntlets. They just go straight over your hands, and you start punching them. But the thing with this is that there's also a thing called Ashes of War, which is so you have like weapons, you have light and heavy attacks, and then that's on R1 and R2. But if you press L2 and you have an Ash of War equipped on a weapon, it will do like a special skill that does it's like most of the time it will do like a special attack, or it will do some other special thing for your weapon or you. So for example, I have a scythe, and it has an Ash of War called Sword Dance, which like allows me to like just jump in and then like swing my scythe really fast. And that's useful because of the blade mechanic in this game. But I also can equip different Ashes of War to get different special attacks, depending on what I want to do. And then, but with the Ashes of War themselves, they can once you equip one, there's different ways. They have what's called affinities. So there's different ways of how like it affects your stats depending on which one you can choose. So for example, I have let's see. Let me go into the Ash of War menu so I can see what I'm looking for. Uh, yeah. So I have different Ashes of War that do different things. Some do different like damage types, and some aren't like offensive. So that like some can just be like movement options. So when you equip an Ash of War, right, it gives you this list. It says affinity granted, and it has if when you go through them, it shows you different ways these different affinities can change your stats. So for example, we have standard, which doesn't affect just the base like normal stats of the weapon. It changes how like much attack power you can do, and it also changes how much your how much the weapon build like scales to your stats. So if you have difference, like depending on how much points you can put in stats, you can spec your weapon into like your stat that you're mostly like putting into. So for heavy, it heavy for my scythe. So when I changed my scythe from standard to heavy, like it used to be a pretty even like split between scaling on dexterity and strength, but now it because of heavy, it scales only in strength, but it scales like better now, so I can get more points out of my strength points. And then for something like keen, it does the opposite, where I scale more into dexterity than into strength, but I can still scale off strength with keen, so I can still get a little bit of extra points of damage. And then for something like quality, it scales it up for both strength and dexterity. But that's not really good because you need to like allocate your stats really well. So if you like have a split damage type, then it does like decrease the amount of points you can put into one stat. And then there's other stuff that adds a different damage type to your weapon, like magic, poison, blood, cold, and occult, which is